Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Abusuafoɔ TV ɛha ɛyɛ PENDREAM TV. Sɛ no first time I also be me a subscribe button no so. No click bell notification icon no so. Comment section ho na do adwenkyere aba. Like na share dwumadi no ma afoforo ensa enkabi. Yensa ka no to be dey do. Ɛsɛ wɔ sabaje bre na aka me na ti ensema ɛwɔ news no.
You see, Senna, there is a very particular provision in our constitution that I always come here and read it, and I don't know why we are not making that effort to implement it. You see, when you read Article 42, it says every citizen of Ghana of 18 years of age or above, and of what? Sound mind, has the right to vote and is entitled to be registered as a voter for the purposes of public elections and referenda. There is a reason why the Constitution or the framers of the Constitution in their own wisdom said we must register people who are of sound mind. Because people who are of sound mind will go and vote for members of parliament who are of sound mind. But we seem to be ignoring this provision. Because the insanity happening there is too much. Nobody can tell me that what happened in Parliament on Thursday night constitutes sanity. It's also it's a big problem. It's a big problem. You see, in 2019, the Parliament of Ghana passed the Vigilante and Other Related Offences Act, and in that act, a lot of these groups, vigilante groups, were disbanded. You can talk about the Boga Bulldogs, the Kandahar Boys, the Tuhazi, and so on and so forth. No, it's all now found their ways in Parliament, and it comes back to the issue that Hamza raised: the monetization of our politics. It is no more about the quality. Who has the money to pay delegates to get a nod? So that we have various constituencies that, as people say, even if you put a tree there in representing a particular political party, that tree is likely to find its way into Parliament. And this is where we must make that effort to correct it. That is not to say we don't have fine parliamentarians in the House. But how many are they? And we are extending our student boyism and guyism into the House. I see a lot of these things as those days I were in school. Nooks politics. Everything must be reduced to who can fight, who can shout. Other than that, if you are doing vetting, now you claim that two people have been brought in without your knowledge or without your notice, and that you are not going to vet them. Must that resort to destruction of state properties? And mind you, the Constitution makes it clear that all of us are equal before the law. When people went to a table after the elections to destroy a police station, the people were chased. As we speak, there is a manhunt for them to be arrested. I expect the IGP, without any further delays, to arrest all those that took part in this. That we are sending a very bad signal to the people of this country that members of parliament are above the law. They are not. If you cannot vet them, go and sit in your house. If it has to be rescheduled, reschedule. What is the big deal? After all, whatever is happening there, it is rubber stamp. But then everyone will go through. Who will be denied his appointment? Tell me, as we are sitting here. Everyone will go through. So there wasn't any need to be destroying state properties. In terms of the orders that have been given by the Speaker, I think it's in the right direction. It's in the right direction because, you see, with what has happened, there has to be a monumental shift and a very grave consequence for the Ghanaian to be reassured that there is leadership in Parliament. Yes, you can say that it's not as though it's headmaster and student relationship. But if these two people are not removed, and if you are removing them and their standing orders permit them to be part of the the appointment committee, then it stands to reason that you need to fill that gap. That is why I say reconstitution, not necessarily reconstitute the entire body, but probably to fill in that gap of the chief whip and the minority chief whip, so that they can continue to do their business. So I agree with it. In terms of surcharging them with the cost, perfect, but it must come with an interest rate. You get my point? And we must see evidence of that. This country, what happens is that the speaker can give this order to please the public, but in reality, nobody's salary will be deducted. It will be business as usual. The speaker must make the step or take that step to also show us when and how it was deducted, so that all of us can verify. Only a few days ago, some of us were very hard on MFA Hakasso, for having gone to Parliament House to disrespect Anodonpre. I wasn't happy, though Anodonpre has never been my fan. He's also one of the most arrogant, rude guys in that parliament there. That has another matter that will be dealt with later. But for you to have gone there, to have taken him to the cleanest, I felt it was wrong. Only for he and not on prayer to lead this onslaught. He should have been more than 5 weeks of suspension. I tell you, because he led the placing of chairs. So how can his punishment be the same as the favor? I saw Jerry Ahmed, first time MP. I mean, how? Jerry, how can you do this? You are not representing yourself as Jerry Ahmed, but you are representing the people of Wejabawe. You contested first at what's the name? Vanapwe's place. Ablekuma. They rejected you. You went to a safe haven. They gave you opportunity. Those that you went to meet your predecessors, was that the way they were behaving in Parliament? You go there and destroy. That is what you want to be remembered for. That the MP that led destruction. So his should have been a par with another prey. The film apostle was an exchange with what's the name? Tapuli. Yeah. Yes, could have come out to 4. At least they didn't point their faces. If adults, your daughters and your sons will see that you went to Parliament to point your faces, that's your own cup of tea. And the fifth one is who?
No, 4.
There are 4.
4, yes. 4.
And you see, this whole vetting, if you look at what is happening there, it's all about settling scores. It's all about, there's real reason why people are sending. They don't even ask questions. But let me congratulate incoming Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. You did so much. You did well. You are on top of your issues. I think it's good. Yeah. We needed to hear more of them about the area. If they did not have any idea how they intend to manage complexities. Now that is why people want to show that you said this on campaign platform. Come and answer here. That is not, for me, a good exercise. And as we must refrain from that. Our brothers in the NPP must understand that they have lost and lost squarely. We of the movement for you, we lost and we are still moving on. Life goes on. And we are going to make sure that we hold this government to their tail. We are not going to stop whatever we are doing. It is in our interest that we do that. So when you lose, accept it and move forward. But they seem not to be getting over the defeat. No hefty enough, but you must also move on. So I believe that on that score, it is not in our interest. But you see, something is coming out of the vetting committee. That's enough. Politicians, one day, I have been fighting against coup makers, and that is where sometimes they allow themselves to let people that believe in coup makers, coups and stuff, to have their way. Almost from across the divide, all of them, they buy government properties with ease. I was surprised to learn that if you are a member of what? The Lands and something committee, and you are done with your tenure, they salute you with the land. You are saluting parliamentarians with land in this country. By the time you are done with the salute, then all our lands will be finished, will be gone. Hey! No. And when I heard it, I felt that this is a banana republic. The people that are saluting you with the land, the moment they salute you with 1 acre, they salute themselves to 10 acres. That is why all these public servants are so corrupt. They bait you with 1, they take 10. You see, we must build this country. We must build it. We must build it. So when I heard it, I was saddened by it. And I said, well, maybe one day we need the Holy Spirit to come and change our situation. But Hamza says something. We need to go back to how we get people selected across the political divide. I don't think there's much scrutiny done at that base. I don't think so. If we were going to do, I don't believe that these two political parties, the representation in parliament, these are their best shots. They are very fine gentlemen in there. And you don't see why I've been fighting against the NDC and NPP. Once again, it was these two parties that went to cause this commotion. Meanwhile, we have independent candidates in there. None of them were part of it. So going forward, maybe the Ghanaian must begin to reorient ourselves and get more people who love this country to come in, so that together we can develop this country. As for the minority, we still need them at the vetting committee. I disagree with anybody that says that the vetting must go on without the minority. Because yesterday night I observed something funny. When the minority group left the vetting, it was free for all. Hey, Mr. Paul, you didn't watch. You would have run to the appointment committee to stop whatever they were doing there. Someone comes, say something about yourself. My name is 2 minutes. Then all of them and block. They were going like that. That is not how you want to develop this country. So we need the minority, but the majority, and I understand the majority. When you are in the same party with someone, and the person comes to the vetting committee and go and ask that person a question, and the person fumbles, I can assure you that person will have you at the back of his mind for the rest of his life, that you decided to disgrace him. I don't think the majority members on the appointment committee, they don't have questions. They have a lot of questions. But the fear of asking a colleague a question to bring the words out of him is what is preventing them. But if you're on the appointment committee, you must understand that you are not representing yourself. Yesterday, I saw my MP at the appointment committee. He was rather arranging the microphones. I said, hey, Kion, were you taking to parliament to be arranging microphones? The people of Okakwe South want to hear something from you. Ask questions.
I don't think he's on a committee.
What was he doing there? I saw him arranging microphone. If you are not part, go and sit at the plenary. So what did he come to do there? Joey, you shouldn't come there, let me see him at all, because I have questions. And therefore, when you see your MP at the appointment committee, he must ask questions on behalf of the constituents. With this, I will plead that parliamentarians, you see, the public opinion about you is going so fast down, and if you don't take any effort, make any effort to reverse it, the movement for change strongly condemns the disgraceful scuffle that erupted in Parliament during the vetting of Honorable Samuel Okuyeto Ablakwa and Honorable Kwabena Minta Akando. Even more concerning is the fact that in the course of this altercation, members of Parliament engaged in the destruction of state property in an act that is not only irresponsible but also an affront to the people of Ghana, whose taxes fund the functioning of our democratic institutions. Parliament, as the highest legislative body, has a solemn duty to foster a culture of political tolerance, mutual respect, and accountability. It must lead by example in shaping the political environment that encourages diverse viewpoints and uphold democratic values. The recent education, however, does the exact opposite. It weakens the faith and fidelity of the Ghanaian people in Parliament's ability to provide the responsible leadership required to advance national progress. The movement for change urges all members of Parliament to uphold the principles of decorum, constructive engagement, and adherence to the rule of law. Ghana's democracy thrives when its leaders engage in meaningful debate, not physical confrontations and the destruction of public property. Further call on the government, particularly Parliament, to spearhead efforts in building a political culture that tolerates different opinions, promotes national unity, and reinforces the accountability of leadership. The future of our democracy depends on the integrity and conduct of leaders. It is time for Parliament to restore the confidence of the Ghanaian people by committing to a higher standard of governance, one that ensures the rule of law and democratic principles are always upheld and public resources are safeguarded. This is from the movement for change.
Conduct of some so-called honorables are absolutely dishonorable. So there is no any honor in wanting to be associated or addressed by that title. And I think that conduct such as this vindicate me. But it is important to state that my good friend Afenyo Markins and the entirety of the NPP, particularly their leadership and communicators, their career is soaked in lies and depravity. And it is very clear by some of the pronouncements they make, by some of the things and the actions they have taken. I think that the Texas has taken the wind out of my sail in the matter of whether the Speaker has the right, governed by law, and law here, either the Constitution or the standing orders, to suspend a member of Parliament. I think that the Texas has indicated that the Speaker has the right to do so. Of course, maybe one would expect that the Speaker would have engaged those members of Parliament before doing that, because when the thing happened, the Fiamoko is a very good friend of mine, and I know his temperament. I know the Fiamoko would not engage in some of the things that the impression is created. He went there to stop them from doing what they were doing. Yet still, we have not held a press conference to condemn the Speaker. The Fiamoko told me, "Nutal, I'm not happy," but then I respect the decision of the Speaker. In the first place, the NPP have issued a statement. I don't know whether you've seen the statement they issued this morning. Haven't held the press conference. They've also issued a statement.
And the minority caucus, rather.
Yes, the minority and the macro minority, actually. And the statement they have issued is targeting the Speaker of Parliament. In the first place, that statement, if you read it, is a complete lie. In the second place, it is made from the position of mischief to salvage the little credibility that is left for the NPP. And Afenyo seems to be the vanguard of that salvaging that credibility. And in the third place, it is meant to discredit the Speaker for the purposes of only God knows. Why? If you look at this, what the Speaker has done, and I want to look at it before looking at the details of the issue. I've heard some so-called experts, and I say so-called because some of the pronouncements they have made on this issue is shocking to me, claimed that the Speaker is not a member of Parliament and therefore is not clothed with any power to take some of the decisions they take. And those people, I expect them to have gone through the standing orders of Parliament and also appreciated the Constitution of Ghana. One thing we need to understand, there cannot be Parliament without Speaker. In fact, the Constitution and the standing orders are all very clear. For business to commence, there must be a Speaker in sitting, whether the Speaker or any of his two deputies. Without the Speaker, you can't even have Parliament doing any job. So though he is not supposed to be a member of Parliament, but he plays a critical role as far as parliamentary proceedings are concerned. And I can understand my brother's frustration, and sometimes not only him, many people, because Parliament is supposed to be demonstrating some level of independence of thoughts and actions. The three arms of government that dictates how governance should go, particularly in a democracy, Parliament is even more important. And I tell people, in a military dictatorship, you still have the judiciary. They may have some challenges, but they exist. You have the executive, of course, if it is the military junta and his secretaries of whatever. But you cannot have Parliament. So Parliament is sine qua non to democratic governance. And that is why anytime there is a truncation of any democratic process, the first institution they dissolve is Parliament. So Parliament, the absence of Parliament means there will be the absence of democracy. But you can have a government without Parliament, but you cannot have democracy without Parliament. So we have a role. Now, many people, and I agree with Hamza when he said that sometimes the processes through which members of Parliament are elected, you know, is also part of the problems that we have. And he went with some extreme position and said that the sanctions should extend to the political parties. I'm wondering how the sanctions could be extended to the political party. But Hamza, it's not only Parliament. You and I belong to NDC. There are many people who are in NDC, and some of them, unfortunately, who may be leading members of our party, either in Parliament or in the political space, who don't even appreciate what social democracy is all about. And if you ask them to tell you, why are you an NDC person? He may not be able to tell you. That is why I was elated when the then National Secretary, now the National Chairman, indeed in one of our meetings said they were going to establish the Social Democratic School. And I remember some of us said that we are prepared to even teach in that school free, bono, without even taking any. And there were people. Senior Kwesi Pratt is a fantastic person who can even teach in that school. So that people would understand that I belong to this political party. I subscribe to this ideological position. I should be able to explain that to an ordinary man. Because many people associate themselves with the NDC or NPP because they believe in the ideology the party espouses. I have told people my grandfather was one of the founding fathers of the UP tradition, my maternal grandfather. But the more I read about the political history of this country, the more I distance myself from the UP, the Buiza Danko tradition and the NPP, because my appreciation of the ideological positions of the various political parties has created that opportunity for me to be able to decipher between what the NDC stands for and what the NPP stands for, and by so taking a decision that I have taken. I think it is very, very important we look into that. Monetization of our politics is a fact. I mean, clearly, maybe perhaps we should go beyond that and take a second look at our constitutional provision. The Constitution is very clear, Article 44, as you mentioned, that anybody of sound mind and above 18 years, without any other condition, who determines the serenity of the mind. And when you made the statement, I was laughing, and I was so by extension, you are saying that Ghanaians are insane, because that's what you said. You said that the actions. You said, look, the Constitution says that anybody with sound mind,
yes,
that person must be sane.
Yes.
Okay, yes. And then they have elected people.
Yes.
And those people, if I'm not saying that is so, if they are insane, it means that insane people have elected insane people to go and represent them. That's what it means.
No, you may not be far from the truth.
So what I'm simply saying is that in every profession, he's a lawyer. In the legal fraternity, you listen to some lawyers and you wonder how they became lawyers. In the media, you listen to some people and you wonder how they became media. So we would have that. That is not to say the entirety of Parliament. But you made a statement. You said that all of them, all members, no, you said all of them, all members of Parliament, indeed, they have all, purchased state property. I have never.
No, I said
but that's what you said.
I didn't say
what
that.
did you say?
I said the ongoing vetting. It is appearing that from both sides they have acquired property.
Yeah, you said all.
No, I didn't say all.
I'll urge you to watch.
No. I said from both sides of the political divide, yes. NDC, NPP, it appears that both sides are purchased from the state.
So that's what
both sides does not mean all.
No, but anyway, I would.
You have not. You have a state land.
No,
so you cannot be part of it.
No, I was just trying to tell you.
Yes.
There are still members of Parliament who may not engage in some of the things we.
And I made that point very.
Okay, that is besides the point. But I would urge you to watch the clip after this, and come next we can apologize to me. So what I'm simply saying is that there are some of those actions, but let's come to the content, the issue at hand. I've heard people who have argued, and Afenyo Markins in their statement reiterated same, misleading argument that Mr. Speaker indeed presided over similar incidences, similar misconducts, and that he didn't take the action he has taken, and that he didn't take that neutral. I would urge you get the statement. That neutral and biased. He didn't take that biased position. How does the action of the Speaker become biased when his directives includes or affects both NDC and NPP members? How does it become biased? And in any case, if you watch the videos and if you were there, you would come to one conclusion that Honorable Defiamapo did not even engage, didn't even start work. He was rather preventing them from doing what they were engaged in. Yet, the Speaker directed, we haven't held a press conference or issued a statement to condemn the Speaker, because we still think that the sanctity of the legislative arm ought to be protected. That is what we still think. But you see, I can understand the anger and the frustration of NDC following across the country. I have had several text messages. Some of the text messages, they attack us, use one brush to paint all of that. Some they admonish you and urge you to talk to Honorable Ahenfo, talk to the leadership. You guys are so weak. But you see, I can understand the frustration. Now, what justification do you think we will have if we come and do exactly what the NDC did, the NPP did in the last government as a means of finding a remedy to this? Then what justification do you think we would have for the condemnation we had against the actions? And this arrogant folly led them to the past. And Afenyo is chatting that same part. And so I can understand. Look, we have maintained, and I guess I reiterated same when we won the elections, that we are not going to railroad Parliament. And let me make a statement of fact. Anytime NPP under the Fourth Republic is in government, Parliament is always weakened. And don't take my words. Go and read the writings of Professor Nelson, Professor Esman Johnson, Professor Jampo, many, in fact, CDDI. Go and read their writings. The weakest parliament we have ever had under the Fourth Republic happened under President Kufuor. Between 2000 to 2008, that was when parliament was the weakest. As a matter of fact, recent publications of scholars in academia who have done some work as far as our parliamentary democracy is concerned have all come to one conclusion, that the seventh parliament has joined that league of the weakest parliament we have had in this country. The seventh parliament. Contrary to the view many people have, the eighth parliament is still to be one of the strongest. So we have a responsibility as a party. And I was happy when, my brother made a point that, look, there is so much responsibility on the NDC because we are in government. Now, every conduct of NDC members, including members of parliament, must be tailored towards the demeanor of His Excellency the President. And President himself has publicly stated that he won't allow any NDC member, whether a member of parliament or a minister, to disrespect Ghanaians. Now, if the people of this country overwhelmingly gave him the mandate they did, must we come and do what the NPP did against us? Then where would be the difference? Now, against even NDC, the integrity of all of us as members of parliament, look, I know Honorable Ahenfo. He's a very good friend, very sharp guy. But you see, there are members of parliament who are even angry at him. They think that he should apply the doctrine of Machiavelli, that there should be war, so that people will appreciate the value of peace. But he has taken a different form. You know what the NPP have done repeatedly? The best they could do is to walk out when they disagree with any decision the NPP take. But you know why? They are not prepared to walk out. Because they know that we have the overwhelming numbers. If they walk out, business will continue. So they won't walk out. They will disrupt the process. That is criminal. That is illegal. Are you getting what I'm saying? Look, in the last elections, when we felt, uncomfortable or disagree with certain decisions by parliament, even with the numbers at the time, and we felt that we did everything through every legal channel, and the speaker, or if you like, even the speaker or the first deputy speaker, refuses to listen to us, both in the seventh parliament and the eighth parliament, we'll do what is expected of us as a decent-minded group of legislature. We walk out. They are not willing to walk out because if they walk out, we still continue with the business of parliament. So they stay to disrupt the process. It is also important, Senna, for us to understand one thing. You see, we represent the people of this country. And maybe perhaps some people don't appreciate what parliament is all about. We are all representatives of the entirety of the people of this country. So I represent the people of Tamale Central. What it means is that they can't gather everybody in Tamale Central to come to Parliament to take a decision for and on their behalf. They must have a representative. So whatever action I take in Parliament must reflect the aspirations of the people I represent. And the reflection of the people I represent, to some extent, reflect the aspirations of the party I represent. Because 2 political parties or 3 or 4 political parties sold their message. The message of the NDC resonated with the people of Tamale Central. And they said, okay, NPP has a candidate. We disagree with the NPP's position. We disagree with their message. We are voting for you to represent us because the NDC's message resonates with us. So that is where sometimes the difficulty is people find the difficulty more difficult to decipher. People think that you are either representing the people or you are representing your political party. The scholars will tell you that you represent both. And the people, and that is why in some instances you find people voting for a member of parliament, but not vote for the party. The independent members of parliament we have. So that is where that conflict is somewhat resolved. That the people disagree with the political party, but they agree with the position of the person who represents a political party. So you can find where the president will win in the presidential, vote, yet his member of parliament or his candidate wouldn't win. That time people then reduce it to just the message of the party, to the message or the character of the individual. So Senna, what they have done is just completely unacceptable. And I've heard some who compared what is being done to what happened on the 9th we elected the speaker. And this thing ought to be made very clear. What we did the very night we elected the speaker, we are enjoined to do that by the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The Constitution says, among others, that it is our responsibility to defend the Constitution, even if it means using violence to defend it. On that day, that very night, the Constitution and the standing orders are all very clear. That in an election of a speaker, the vote must be done through a secret ballot. The NPP, including Afenyo Markins, decided that they were going to disregard the constitutional provisions and the standing orders, insisting that it shouldn't be done through a secret ballot. And we said no. So we had, in fact, the Constitution was behind us. The standing orders was also behind us. But what did they do? They brought in armed military men into the chamber. Armed military men. That was a direct attack to the democracy parliament and the sanctity of the people, the aspirations of the people we represent. They brought armed military men. Now, the NDC people who are very angry, and I can understand their anger. Must we do same? Now, what they did, you think that we couldn't have also commandeered military men to come in there? What would have, how could people have seen the difference? We could have also done that. We could have also commandeered military men, because the Committee of Parliament is an extension of Parliament. But we didn't do that, because we are not supposed to do that. Anytime NDC is in government, our focus is not just the NDC, but we are looking at also the larger picture. And those who are angry, the posture we took, the fact that we stood firm in the defense of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and what is right, for me, occasioned the overwhelming victory we had. If we had done what the NPP was doing, maybe we wouldn't have won the elections in the manner we have won. So we need to continue that way. And the people of this country will see the NPP for who they are. But you see, Afenyo Markins repeatedly disrespect the speaker. Repeatedly. I mean, he's my very good friend. Unfortunately, I have to say these things about him. Look, when he virtually insulted the speaker, everything and that arrogant folly led to his past. And when we came back at the commencement of this parliament, he stood as the new minority, in fact, macro minority leader, and said that, oh, everything, he had an outstanding working relationship with the speaker. He even went ahead with a mischievous statement that we, those in the majority, were against the re-elections of the speaker. And I was happy the speaker himself made it very clear to him that is not the case. Now, he said all those things. That day, I said, this guy is pretending. This guy, even the committee, at the beginning of the vetting, the statements he made. So it is not about words. It is about deeds. It is about your action. And contrary to the perception some people had, that maybe he's now being humbled because the elections has actually humbled him. No, he's not. And it is not just Afenyo who is doing that. That conduct is approved by the party he represents. Because if the party never approved that conduct, I can tell you that they would have reined him in. But the party approves the conduct Afenyo Markins is having. Look, let me be very clear. They have taken our leniency to be our weakness. Mine is to plead and to appeal to the NDC following. We are not weak. Even when we were 137, they couldn't do anything. Now we are in fact, we have overwhelmed 2/3. Because if you look at the numbers we have and the 4 members of parliament who have agreed to sit with us and in voting, we can take any decision. But we are interested and particularly concerned about the perception out there. There were some people who neither belong to NDC nor NPP, but they voted for us. They voted for us to reset the country.
Subscribe to channel no. Like na share jumadi no ma afoforo ensa enkabi.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.